Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Jaya Radha Madhava Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Radha Madhava Jaya Gopidana Vallabha Girivara Hari Jaya Gopidana Vallabha Girivara Hari Yashodanandana Brajadana Randana Yashodanandana Brajadana Randana Jamuna Tira Vanam Sari Jamuna Tira Vanam Sari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunda Bihari Radha Jaya Radha Madhava Kunda Bihari Jaya Gopi Jana Vallabha Girivara Hari Jaya Gopi Jana Vallabha Girivara Hari Yashodanandana Brajadana Randana Yashodanandana Brajadana Randana Jamuna Tira Vanachari Jamuna Tira Vanachari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Radha Madhava Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Radha Madhava Hare Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama Hare Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Jai Radha Madhava, Radha Madhava, Radhe. Jai Radha Madhava, Radha Madhava, Radhe. Jai Prabhupada, 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 Jai Prabhupada, 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 Jai Jai Prabhupada, 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 Jai Prabhupada, 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 Swayam Vishupad Paramahamsa Privrajagacharya Stotra Satya Sri Srimad His Divine Grace Shiraboy Charanarvind Bhakti Vedanta Swami Sri Prabhupada Ki Ananta Koti Vaishnava Vrinda Ki Skandi Biti Founder Charya's Divine Grace Srila Prabhupada Ki Namacharya Srila Haridas Thakur Ki Samaveta Bhakti Vrinda Ki Harinama Sankirtana Ki Grantara Srimad Bhagavatam Ki Dainitai Gaura Pimanande. All glories to the assembled devotees. All glories to the assembled devotees. All glories to the assembled devotees. All glories to Sri Guru and to Sri Gauranga. All glories to Sri Prabhupada Ki. Om Ajnanatimirandasya Gyananjana Salakaya Taksurunmiritam Jena Tasmai Sri Gurave Namaha Sri Chaitanya Manobhistam Stapitam Jena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamahyam Dadati Swapadantikam Vandeham Sri Guru Sri Juta Parakamalam Sri Gurun Vaisnavam Scha Sri Rupam Sagradatam Sahagana Raghunatan Vitam Tvam Sajivam Sadvaitam Savadutam Parijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Sri Radha Krishna Padan Sahagana Lalita Sri Visakan Vitam Scha He Krishna Karuna Sindhu Dinabandhu Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namostute Tapta Kancana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Vrishabhanu Suti Devi Pranamami Hari Priye Vansakalpa Tarubhyasya Kripa Sindhu Vyaivacha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha Narayanam Namaskritya Naram Chaiva Narotamam Devim Sarasatim Vyasam Tato Jaya Mudiraye. Before reciting the Srimad Bhagavatam, which is our very means of conquest, let us first offer our respectful obeisances unto Narayana, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, unto Narayana Rishi, the supremmost human being, unto Mother Saraswati, the goddess of learning, and unto Srila Vyasadeva, the author. Nasta prayesa badreshu Nityam Bhagavata Sevaya Bhagavati Uttama-shloke Bhaktir Bhavati Naistiki. By regularly hearing the Srimad Bhagavatam and by rendering a service unto the pure devotee, all that is troublesome within the heart becomes destroyed practically to nil, and loving devotional service unto the Supreme Lord, who is praised with transcendental songs, becomes established as an irrevocable fact. Idam Bhagavatam Nama Puranam Brahma Samhitam Uttama Shloka Charitam Chakara Bhagavan Rishi Nishreya Sayalokasya Dhanyam Swasthayanam Mahat. This Srimad Bhagavatam, known as the Grantaraj, the king of all Vedic literatures, is the literal incarnation of God. It is compiled by the incarnation of God, as Srila Vyasadeva. It is meant for the ultimate good of all people. It is all successful, all blissful, and all perfect. Sri Krishna Chaitanya, Prabhu Nityananda, Sri Advaita Gadadhara, Sri Vasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya, 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 Om Sarabhyaya Namaha, Om Surabhyaya Namaha, Om Sarabhyaya Namaha, Om Surabhyaya Namaha, Om Sarabhyaya Namaha, Om Surabhyaya Namaha. Mukam karoti vachalam pangum langayate girim yad kripa tamaham bande Sri Gurum Dinataranam, yad kripa tamaham bande Sri Gurum Dinataranam. Hare Krishna. Welcome to our morning Bhagavatam class. Continuing Canto number 1, chapter 10, the departure of Lord Krishna for Dvārakā. Text number
17.
What is it?
17. 17.
17. Okay. Yes. 17. Sita tapatram jagraha muktadama vibhushitam ratna dandam gudakeshaha priyaha priyatamasya aha Sita tapatram jagraha Mukta dama vibhushitam Ratna dandam gudakesha Priya priyatamasya Sita tapatram jagraha Mukta dama vibhushitam Ratna dandam gudakesha Priya priyatamasya Sita tapatram jagraha Mukta dama vibhushitam Ratna dandam gudakesha Priya priyatamasya Mukta dama vibhushitam Ratna dandam gudakesha Priya priyatamasya Sita tapatram jagraha Mukta dama vibhushitam Ratna dandam gudakesha Priya priyatamasya Sita tapatram jagraha Mukta dama vibhushitam Ratna dandam gudakesha
प्रियतमस्यः
सीतातपत्र जग्राह
सीतातपत्रं जग्राह
मुक्तदां विभूषितं
मुक्ताधाम विभूषितं
रत्नदण्डं गुणाकेश
रत्नदण्डं गुडाकेशः
प्रियः प्रियतमस्यः
प्रिय प्रियतमस्यः
सीतातपत्रं जग्राह
सीतातपत्रं जग्राह
मुक्तादां विभूषितं
मुक्तधाम विभूषितं
रत्नदण्डं गुडाकेशः
रत्नदण्डं गुडाकेशः
प्रियः प्रियतमस्यः
प्रिय प्रियतमस्यः
सीतातपत्रं जग्राह सीतातपत्रं जग्राह मुक्तादाम विभूषितं रत्नदण्डं गुडाकेशः प्रियप्रियतमस्यः सीतातपत्रं जग्राह मुक्तादाम विभूषितं रत्नदण्डं गुडाकेश प्रियप्रियतमस्यः सीतातपत्रं
soothing umbrella jagraha took up muktadama decorated with laces and pearls vibhushitam embroidered ratnadandam with a handle of jewels gudakeshaha Arjuna, the expert warrior, or one who has conquered sleep. Gudakeshaha. Arjuna. Oh, I'm sorry. Priyaha. Most beloved. Yeah. Priyatamasya. Of the most beloved. Ha. So he did. Translation and purport by His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada Ki. At that time, Arjuna, the great warrior and the conqueror of sleep, who is the intimate friend of the most beloved Supreme Lord, took up an umbrella which had a handle of jewels and was embroidered with lace and pearls. Kindly repeat after me. At that time, Arjuna, the great warrior and conqueror of sleep, who is the intimate friend of the most beloved Supreme Lord, took up an umbrella which had a handle of jewels and was embroidered with lace and pearls. With lace and pearls. Lace. Everyone knows what is lace?
Lace means a strip, like cloth strip.
Lace.
Yes.
Can somebody look it up? Lace.
Yes.
Yeah, some kind of decoration. Yes. Huh? Yes. Purport. Gold, jewels, pearls, and valuable stones were used in the luxurious royal ceremonies. They are all nature's gifts and are produced by the hills, oceans, etc. By the order of the Lord, when man does not waste his valuable time in producing unwanted things in the name of necessities. Just reading this sentence again. They are all nature's gifts and are produced by the hills, oceans, etc., by the order of the land, by the order of the Lord. When man does not waste his valuable time in producing unwanted things in the name of necessities. By so-called development of industrial enterprises, they are now using pots of gutta percha. What is gutta percha?
पेंटिंग क्या बोलते हैं?
Look it up. Yeah, of gutta percha instead of metals like gold, silver, brass, and copper. They are using margarine instead of purified butter, and 1/4 of the city population has no shelter. Well, it's not a joke, but yeah. Did you find this gutta percha
टाइप ऑफ अ पेंटिंग
Brush.
type of painting brush?
Painting brush. The pots are colored with painting brush, such puta percha. Moderns.
Well, we are, for example, we used to see in the villages those who sell different containers, pots, made of different metals. Now we see people walking around with all plastic,
Yes.
isn't it? You can carry so many because plastic is not very heavy. So another glimpse in what the Vedic culture offers. Well, a number of things here that are of interest. One is, of course, Arjuna being not only a great warrior, or maybe because he was a great warrior, or part of being a great warrior was that he had conquered over sleep, which is not, as we all know, such an easy thing to do. But actually, in the Vedic culture, one is meant to not only reduce one's material necessities of life, but also one is meant to reduce one's sleeping time. We know how the Goswamis in Vrindavan, it is described, they only slept for maybe an hour and a half, 2 hours. Sometimes they forgot to sleep. We rarely forget to sleep. Srila Prabhupada is also an example of someone who would sleep very less. Actually, when we look at the schedule and the lives of our great acharyas, they really minimize their material necessities, especially in terms of sleep. So Arjuna, who is most intimate friend of Kṛṣṇa, is holding. Kṛṣṇa is about to depart for Dvārakā. So Arjuna is holding this umbrella, which is bedecked with all kinds of jewels, as mentioned here. Even the cows traditionally are decorated, the horns, isn't it? Decorated with golden ornaments. When the warriors go fighting, they also decorate themselves and their chariot with. So, in other words, when we, Prabhupada points this out in the purport, when we are understanding that there is no need to produce what Prabhupada referred to as, was it? Artificial or artificial necessities of life, which is what we are preoccupied with in modern day society, then for which we have to exploit so much of material resources, when we actually minimize our material necessities of life, Mother Nature provides us with so much of, in other words, Mother Nature is full of wealth. She is, this is part of what is called the gifts of nature. In Vedic culture, we are primarily preoccupied with what is actually of value. And the gifts of nature are some of these gifts of nature are described here. And we've mentioned this many times. The three natural gifts of nature are summarized by Grandfather Bhishmadev as being cows, land, and
knowledge.
cultivation of knowledge. Correct. If any country, and this was the let's say special features. These were the special features of Vedic culture in its we say apogee, in its height of glory. Because just like Vrindavan, that's they concentrate, isn't it, on looking after the cows very nicely. Everyone is somehow or other connected with the cows. The Matajis, they take the milk and produce every day, isn't it? They spend hours and hours turning the milk into yogurt, and then from yogurt, churning the yogurt, making butter, and then from the butter, making ghee. And other members, other residents in Vrindavan, they are, because Vrindavan mostly is Vaishya, farmers. So these are the two main, these are meant to be, it's not only just for Vrindavan and very nice to read about, these are actually meant to be the standard in terms of how we live, something that we need to translate this into actual, in actual life. And then automatically, opulence, both, we could say, both material and spiritual opulence will be there. And this is especially shown, well, here Prabhupada mentions how this was like the signs of royalty. People who were Kshatriyas, they, as we can see here, they had access to all of this opulence, and they utilized that properly as well. But not only the royal family, as I mentioned, in Vrindavan, which is Vaishyas, Nanda Maharaj, the whole village were primarily Vaishyas. They were also opulent. There's no lacking of whatever material necessities of life, if we learn how to properly utilize the natural resources. But it all begins, Prabhupada says, the main defect. What is the main defect of modern civilization? They don't understand that the primary goal of life is to become God conscious, isn't it? Is to strive for self-realization, and therefore they are falsely running after so many material kinds of facilities, thinking that this is how we will be happy or satisfied. And the temples, we read about this actually, I think recently, how in different parts of India, many of the large temples, even now, I think the latest that was discovered maybe was in Kerala, having so much of jewels, isn't it?
Yes.
So much of gold. And the kings used to actually, in the Vedic times, they used to keep, actually that is one of the, what is it? One of the 7 constituents or 7 aspects or 7 components for a successful kingdom. It's one of the, we could say, important formulas or mantras for making a kingdom or making any kind of activity, or for that matter, making any kind of organization successful. That's part of what will be covering that actually in one of the courses we'll be having on Vedic sociology. So I'm referring to treasury, isn't it? Treasury is one of the 7. What are the other components for a successful
Ministers.
kingdom? Huh?
Ministers.
Ministers. Before that,
The state itself.
not the state, the king. We're not impersonalists. Yeah, the king. The king, a qualified king, is the most important personality, isn't it? He will make everything happen. So from the king will come ministers, qualified ministers. And then a king will understand that actually I cannot rule, I cannot properly execute my duties unless I have a kingdom.
Yes.
Unless I have land, right? So kingdom means territory, a designated territory. Like this is, we could say, this 1.5 acres of land is our kingdom, our VCF kingdom. So we need to, kings know what is their territory, and one of the most important activities is to defend, the borders, territory. So king, ministers, kingdom, and then
Army.
yeah, that is also there. After actually it's like fort. You need a place where the king resides. And number 5 actually is you need, what do you keep especially in your fort?
Weapons.
Yes, and what is your treasury?
Treasury.
Your treasury. And in order to protect your treasury, that's where the army comes in, and that's where weapons come in. Can't have an army without weapons.
Yes.
So it's all like interconnected. And then, so king, minister, kingdom, fort, then treasury, then army is 6, and number 7, very important, allies. Allies means friends, making friends with the neighbors, knowing wherever we live, for example, we should know who's our next door neighbor. Because in times of, if our next door neighbor is our enemy number 1, well, and if we don't know about it, then it's not very good. Yeah.
Is the reason that the kings do many marriages to make relationship with friends?
They do many
Marriages.
marriage. Yes, that's part of diplomacy. Right. Yeah, they will make alliance, isn't it? They will make alliance with this king, and that alliance is generally done through marriage. And
Politics.
yeah, geopolitics, politics based on the geographical position of other kings. If I'm surrounded, this is very detailed actually, in the Kautilya Arthashastra, very interesting. Of course, when we live in a temple and chant Hare Krishna, we don't think about Sita. But actually, it's part of, especially when we don't live in a temple and when we have to deal with, general society and people, and we have to, if we have land, and we should have land, and if we have animals, cows especially, and people, then there's a whole, what is it? There's a whole system and a whole mechanism, which is all outlined actually in the Shastra, that some individuals need to learn, isn't it? We cannot all be sitting in. Somebody sent me a very interesting quote, which it's kind of appropriate to share right now. Actually, it was Prahlad who sent me this quote.
Yes.
Have you seen it?
No.
Anyways, he rarely sends me quotes. That's, I think, one of the first quotes. But it's quite, I would say, revealing. And where is it? It's actually from the, okay, got it, right. This is taken from, there's a very important, we have so much of literature that unfortunately most of the time just ends up being in the library, on the bookshelf. And of course, we're having these courses starting, our Kartik semester, different courses. Those who are giving courses especially need to have gone through different books and whatnot to prepare their material. But there's so much of our line in particular since the time of the Goswamis, so many. So there's one series, it's called The Harmonist. Harmonist was written by Sajjana Toshani.
Yeah.
That is one writing by Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur. Yeah. Yeah, some of that material finds itself in what is called the. So I'll just read this. This is actually a quote from Srila Jagannath Das Babaji Maharaj. Not just anybody, huh? Jagannath Das Babaji Maharaj, who was like the spirit Shiksha Guru of Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur. And so this is found in the Rays of the Harmonist, number 15, Kartik, 2005. And it's very short, but actually very to the point. It is more beneficial, I think you'll enjoy this one. It is more beneficial to cultivate fields and water plants for the service of the Vaishnavas than to inattentively pull beads hundreds of thousands of times.
Yes,
The result of serving the Vaishnavas is genuine taste for the holy name. Yeah. In other words, there's a need for balancing these two aspects of life without simply becoming, as is the situation today in the world, people, because they are devoid of proper understanding, they don't know about dharma, so therefore they are simply running after what we call material pursuits. But there is a way of dealing with matter, and just like some of the courses that we'll be offering. Yesterday we were discussing with one devotee Sushil. Kind of interesting. He's into, it's one of the courses we'll be having, into what is called like different medicinal plants, different herbs. Just like here we want to grow different herbs. You know, Ayurveda. Ayurveda is a very important part of the Vedic literatures, which has to do with how to keep the body fit, how to keep the body healthy, so that we can be alert in the Bhagavatam class, isn't it? Yeah. So I mean, we give attention, we understand the importance of good health, not so that we can eat more food, and you know, if we have a stronger body, we'll have more sense gratification. But no, we are concerned about keeping good health, so that both, because the body also affects, influences the mind, isn't it? So the physical, biological health is directly connected with our psychological health as well. And these two affect ultimately our spiritual health, isn't it? If we're simply constantly lamenting because we have, you know, sore headache or whatever, then it's more difficult to, of course, unless we are somebody like Grandfather Bhishmadev, and we can totally transcend hundreds of arrows in our body. We have a hard time transcending a mosquito biting us, right? So, Prabhupada actually in many places in the Bhagavatam mentions how, whether it's you know, politics, or whether it's sociology, whether it's medicine, whatever different sciences or different activities, so-called material activities, when they're connected with Kṛṣṇa, then those activities are bona fide. They're welcome, isn't it? So again, Prabhupada kind of like points out the defect of the whole modern system of, we could say, economic development, when he says, by so-called development of industrial enterprises, they're now using, well, we're using plastics, we're using synthetics. One of the courses that we'll be covering, it's interesting actually, because it's our course on Ayurveda by Dattatreya Prabhu. He'll be here actually 1 week. And one of the, last year he was also giving the course, and he was covering and explaining how the cloth the cloth we wear, largely because most of us, we don't even understand, most of us are wearing synthetic cloth, isn't it? Is your cloth synthetic? Synthetic? Most likely it is. Means it's not pure. It's like either pure cotton or pure wool or pure whatever, yeah. 99% of the cloth today is synthetic. Synthetic means it's petroleum based, isn't it? I mean, practically everything, these machines and whatnot, it's like if we didn't have. So all of these unnatural materials, just like this devotee was mentioning also, he's specializing, is very rare to specialize in what is pure. And that's important for us, because actually Krishna consciousness means specializing in what is pure, isn't it? And unless we come to that level of purity, pure devotional service, then we will not be able to properly connect with Krishna. So this should actually be shown and demonstrated in how we deal with the material nature. In other words, we should be preoccupied, for example, of growing things, like in our little kingdom here, of growing things that are pure, that are natural, that are, we say, like organic. And we should be concerned about consuming things that are also pure, because then all of this affects ultimately our consciousness. And if our consciousness is not pure, then we cannot properly connect, isn't it, with Krishna. We can also not properly connect with one another, isn't it? So all these things are interconnected here. Prabhupada is even making reference to margarine. I mean, they have margarine in India. You know margarine?
It's type of butter, like butter, but
Yeah,
more than butter.
It's like butter, correct?
Yes.
Yeah.
Vegetable oil made from vegetables.
Right. Yeah. When we were young, everyone, this vegetable oil actually is white.
Yes.
And so the margarine is actually this, I don't know how they do it now, but I remember clearly you used to buy this, and there was one small package which was having a yellow color. And you would open the package and you would mix that with the white margarine, and it would take on the color of butter, because butter, like ghee, is golden color. So in this way, this so-called margarine, that was part of the illusion. It looks like butter, but actually, it is not at all having the qualities, of pure butter. And in the West, how we would make ghee, I would make ghee by, they sell butter in the West by, not kilos, by pound. 1 pound of butter. It's like a block of butter, 1 pound of butter.
Oh, yes.
So I would buy 50 pounds of butter and make ghee. Anyone ever make ghee here? You make ghee, huh? How do you make your ghee?
Not from Vedic style.
Not
like Bilona method.
Okay.
We used to make cream from milk.
Cream, yes.
And we collect it in fridge or
Okay, yeah.
And we put into pot and make hot on gas and make ghee.
Yeah. That's one way, but that's not the original.
Yes, that's not the original.
Of like they make in Vrindavan. Yes.
I'm not made ghee, but my mother is made ghee from churning.
Oh, your mother was doing that, eh? Okay, yeah. So, yes, because we have abandoned in our modern way of doing things the traditional therefore it's important to reintroduce these traditional, and this is part of what we are meant to do here, actually, to reintroduce like this oil ghani.
Yes.
Making oils, they call it cold press oil, isn't it?
Yes.
Because now they use machines. It's all used with heat, which is actually destroying the nutrients that are there, and therefore that's why it's so much of, we claim to be so advanced in terms medically advanced, but there's more disease nowadays, and cancer is also increasing. Yeah. The next text actually doesn't have a purport, so I'll just read that as well. Yeah, we can read the Sanskrit. Uddhava Sātyaki Chaiva
Uddhava Sātyaki Chaiva
Vyajane Paramad Bhute
Yajane Paramadavute
Vikiryamana Kusumai
Yamana Kusumai
Reje Madhupati Pati.
Reje Madhu Pati Pati.
Translation: Uddhava and Sātyaki began to fan the Lord with decorated fans, also decorated fans, and the Lord, as the master of Madhu, seated on scattered flowers, commanded them along the road. Yeah. So, any comments on this or thoughts? That means that everything, especially most people today don't have land. So we are in a kind of fortunate position because we have so much land. I mean, so much land. It's always, everything in the material world is relative. But compared to most people, we have actually a lot of land. You know, and therefore we should try to understand the value of land, and we should learn to properly utilize the land. At least we should avoid polluting the land in different ways, and we need to value, because that is one of the primary, as we mentioned earlier, that is one of the primary gifts of nature. And now with our Goshala coming up, land is there, we'll be adding cow. So we'll be getting closer to what is recommended actually in the Shastra. A cow's land and cultivation of proper knowledge. And if we can especially focus on these three activities, then so many positive things will actually gradually become manifest. Yeah. Anything?
Maharaj,
Yes?
the name Madhu, Madhusudana and Madhu Pate, master of Madhu, what is the reference? It's like the killer of demon Madhu, and where we can find these pastimes when Krishna killed Madhu.
I don't have the exact reference, but anyone know? Krishna's
Lord Krishna takes incarnation of Lord Hayagriva and kill the Madhu Kaitava, the two demons. One of so that reference, he kills Madhu, the demon.
Demon Madhu.
Yes.
Where is that described? That's what he's asking.
I think in Vishnu Puran.
In Vishnu Purana. Yeah. You have to join the research team. Yeah, there are many of the Lord's pastimes that are scattered in different Puranas. Yeah. Okay. Jai Srimad Bhagavatam ki Jai Sridham Prabhupada ki
Jai.
Gaura Pimanandi.
Hari Hari Bol.
This is for Krishna Charan for asking